B show. Today I'm here with Marina Lazaris, who's visiting from London. and we're going to be talking about sacred thinking right after we go through these agreements. We'll be right back.
Let's normalize that smiling is being present with your soul and accept that you have the power to replenish from within. Let's agree that you are the creator of your world. Own the energy of your words. Most importantly, replenish with your own smile. Welcome to the Free to Be Show. I'm your host, Cordelia, the ultimate joy monger. My name literally means the heart of the ocean of forgiveness. Listen to this show as if you are excavating your life for places where you limit your own freedom. Are you free? Let's see.
And we're back. So thank you so much for joining me today on the Free to Be show and talk about sacred thinking. Tell me, what does that mean to you?
Sacred thinking, I mean, like what an honor it is to be here, but yeah, let's go straight into it. What does it mean? For me, sacred thinking is when you honor your thoughts and you honor what's coming up before you in your mind, right? We can often go into reaction mode instead of creation mode. So it's kind of that, creation, because we are creation, we are a gift. We are, enough, beautiful, all these things. So it's just like channeling our divine.
Yeah. And how have you experienced that in your life? Are there times when you've, let's say, not had so sacred thinking and
because I'm a human, I've come to earth. I wish sometimes I didn't come to earth and I could just be like a little angel and be like, oh yeah, I don't have these thoughts. Because sometimes, as you know, the inner critic comes in and past conditioning comes in, things from society. It's not even our voices, it's the sacred thinking for me is that pure inner child within that's just peace, love and joy, ultimate joy manager. But that, it's that that purity, it's that flow. And when does it come in? It comes in at all different times. But sometimes when I'm running, sometimes when I'm just losing myself.
Yeah.
And I think often we can get stuck and we can be lost in these thoughts that don't serve us, and connecting us back through exercise, even because we can do meditation, gratitude, prayer. But I wouldn't be who I am today without exercise, without using my body, using movement, using dance, all of these things that connects my body and the flow energy, that feminine divine, back to the sacred.
Yeah, I love that you brought the connection to body in here, because so many women that I work with, they're just not connected to their bodies. And, as we're talking about sacred thinking, a lot of people are like, why is she talking about body? Like, thinking is in your head, and it's not.
Wow. Powerful. It's so powerful because we've got so much intuition in our body, and it's that disconnect. And I can relate, like literally I can relate, hence my book that's in process around how you make love is the way you live your life. Now, when you're not connected to your body, you're not fucking making love.
You're not fucking. Making love.
And I come to that realization that I've probably been fucking all my life.
Yeah.
And when you come to that realization, you look in the mirror and it's you be you, and you're like, I was disconnected. I was in a place where being connected was hard.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it. Probably not until I had my second child at home with no medication, and I was allowed to, the midwife was so phenomenal. She was like, feel your own baby's head.
Yeah.
And I was like, me do that. Yes, it's my fucking body.
I know.
Body.
Whoa, let's slow down with that, Marina, though. Like, how about that, right?
Yeah.
You can touch to see if your baby's crowning on your own yoni, right? But
Yeah.
we've been conditioned that somebody else is the only person that can touch our yoni and let that baby come out. Like, it's our baby, it's our body, right? And that is like a whole sexual trauma that we normalize in society.
It's
You know?
honestly, it sends shivers down my legs because so much abuse happens when it
Yeah.
comes to the birthing process.
Mhm.
For me, I mean, I studied hypnobirthing to teach, but for me, it was one of the biggest healing experiences.
Yeah.
Around, being disconnected in so many ways. Reconnecting me back to my body, back to my power, back to this is my body.
Yeah.
This is
And
not being done to me. Like,
exactly.
why should birth be done to you? Like, and there's
It comes through you.
It comes through. It's not done to you. And
Yeah.
there's this preconception, like there's shame, like there's shame to touch yourself. There's shame to have pleasure. But the society would rather you have pain.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's rip that baby out. Let's just cut you open. Like, why would you want to make love as a baby come out? Like, why would you want to do these things that are actually natural? It's hormonally wired into us. We produce oxytocin when we make love and we give birth. It's exactly the same hormones.
Yes.
And it's pushed out of us, and women are shamed. And it's so sad.
And we normalize giving away our power in that way, and we don't think of it that way. And, so I love that we've come to making love, having babies, the birthing process, and connecting to our bodies. Because if we're the most basic way to be free is in your own body, is to be free in your own sexuality and sensuality and the way that you make love and bring life into the world. Women are portals between worlds. And when I came up with the topic of sacred thinking, I was exactly thinking this, but I didn't know that like this was just a recent choice for us to hop on here on this Friday. But this is exactly what sacred thinking is. We are conduits. Women's bodies are conduits for the divine. I'm going to mute you because of the wind.
Yeah, sure.
And so, women's bodies are conduits for the divine, and that's in our intuition. It's in our way of being. It's in our way of loving, nurturing, and bringing life. And when we don't honor that, we diminish not only ourselves, but we diminish the collective consciousness. Because we, just like my logo has these sun rays and light beams, that's who women are. We emanate the ultimate, presence and love and joy when we are not fragmented and when we allow ourselves to be those conduits. But when we cut ourselves off with just thinking with our minds, then we dim the light on the whole world,
Yeah, and it's sad. It's sad because we're not in our heart, and we're not really truly stepping into our power, and that disconnect is felt with sadness because we're just being like a robot, like a machine. We're thinking what everyone else wants and how to please everyone outside of ourselves. We're not really thinking about how to please ourselves, how to honor ourselves. All of these things that was just so natural many centuries ago. The divine woman, the woman medicine woman, like how women helped one another give birth. And with my second birth, I'd say it was a lady who helped me more than my husband. And that was magnificent. I didn't need him there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's okay. There's certain things that are conditioned. A man has to be there. This has to be this way. And does it? It doesn't. You know, the women holding other women is powerful. So powerful. And yet, in society, we've almost been positioned against one another as objects, as all different things, and it saddens me. It's just getting back to our divine, our unique beauty, and our inner souls, and letting that shine, because that's true beauty, that's true attractiveness. It's that holding that and just being like, this is who I am, this is what I want, these are my yeses, these are my no's.
Yes.
Every area of your life. So often we don't know, and you know, that would be one question I'd ask as a dating question as well. How do you make love? Your first question, one of the first questions I ask, because
I love that. That's brilliant. And you know what? That takes care of 2 or 3 things at one time, right? Because you know if he's a misogynist, if he's like, "What? You just want to talk about having sex?" And it's like, "No, I want to talk about making love. And I want to know what that means to you." You know, because that will let you know his emotional maturity, his, you know, how connected he is to his body and how much he values you, you know, and whether he's even like aware enough to be worthy to be in your presence, you know?
It's just such a beautiful question, because I just find it just, you know, if someone would even say like, I just want to do what the person wants, I'm like, okay, well, okay, so what does that mean? Like, whatever makes them happy, I'm going to do. I'm like, okay, but what makes you happy? And then you have this conversation and they just don't even know. They don't even know what. And it's just like, and it's on the, and again, it's on, and I'm coming from an acting background, it's on the performance. It's on the, I don't want a performer, darling.
Yes. Like, I want the real thing.
I want connection. I don't want a performance. Like, so I know, but I mean, I have empathy, because, you know, that's how we're introduced to many things in the world, as look at this, look at the performance, look at the show.
Yeah.
But that's not connection.
No.
You know, when you're in a flow, you're not thinking, as you said, when you're, and we attribute this to sex, when you're in flow of sex, which is sacred energy exchange.
It's a medicine too.
Well, you're not thinking. You're sensing, you're smelling, you're not even looking, you don't even see what the person looks like. If you stopped to look at that person's abs, you're not in the moment. Like, as in, unless you're, you know, when you're in it, you're like, you're taking in all the smells, the taste, the sounds. Like, if you're stopping and thinking what you're going to do next, you're not in it. You're in the performance. Gone back into the Truman Show.
Right? It's like no spiritual connection.
No, you're not there. And, you know, this is where I get sad, because these books and these guys are like, this is what a woman wants and this is what I need to do. And I'm like, no.
Stop the madness.
No, stop it. You know, and we do it. I do it to myself, like pressure so much. I'm like, Marina, I have to slow down. It's like, slow down. Does any of this matter? Because a real connection, a real spiritual connection, they're not looking how big my bum is.
Yes.
You know, and to be quite graphic on that. You know,
oh, you know.
I haven't got a big one, and I'm okay with that.
Hey.
To look at someone's eyes anyway. So, you know, it's like it's like reframing it.
Yeah.
And going, actually, how do I get carried away with society's way of sacredness?
Yeah.
And bring this back to, we are sacred. We are divine in everything we do. The way we do one thing is the way we do everything.
Yeah. And that's the real power, is recognizing that that sacredness and honoring that and creating habits and structure around that. And so that is how I created Replenish Me. You know, it's about nurturing me, nurturing you, and discovering what that is sacred thinking, you know? And so I'm really excited that we're going to be working together on a cool project.
I'm so excited. But as you said it, right, it just like comes in, the word nurturing again to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it came yesterday, and it was around relationships, and it was around they need nurturing. And I was like, beautiful, but you're saying it as in this is to nurture you. You're the first relationship, you know. And it's hard if you wasn't nurtured. I'm coming from my own background, but there wasn't much nurturing. So even that step of like, if you don't know how to nurture you, then in a relationship, how can you even nurture a relationship of any shape or form? It all, you know, the biggest relationship we'll ever have is with the precious gift of you.
Yeah.
And that word is beautiful, that nurture, because it ties into the rebirth. It ties into what, you know, what you're creating so beautifully in that rebirth and replenish is that nurture. Like, I'm like so passionate about it, because how the fuck do we forget? And it annoys me. I annoy myself, and I don't him really no peace and love. You know, not either or, it's yes and, but it's like, how do we lose that?
Yeah. You know, it's really in our choices, you know. I'd say, like, for you and I, right, we chose to have home births, you know, and so that for me was the reconnection back to my body and the remembrance that I require deep nurturing. And even seeing, I don't know if you did, like, during your delivery, you know, you see like that gap between this world and the spiritual world as the baby's coming through, you know what I mean? And so it's like I experienced that 4 times, you know, because 4 of my kids were born at home. And it's just like each time I was just drawn closer and closer. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, like this is really what I was created for. And this is the, you know, like the infinite deep loving that we all require. And how do I get that to the rest of the world, you know? We do it by loving our children, you know, and we do it by loving our spouse, but we mostly do it by loving ourselves, because I'm sure you've experienced this too. Like, when you go someplace, just you without your kids, right? People will say, "Oh, you know, you're such a light. I can feel your energy." I'm sure you've heard people say that to you, right? And it's like, when we're filled up and when we're replenished and when we're connected, like, we're changing the collective consciousness just with our presence, you know?
Wow, powerful.
Mhm.
And it's so powerful, and it's so simple, you know. And we overcomplicate it and make it wrong, or society's made it wrong. And it's essential.
100%.
And I had the same experiences as you in birth, that, you know, as you said, like a portal between the two worlds, and previously before that too. And in that pure state of having no medication, of not being numb, and feeling every single thing, connected me back to who I truly am, more than anything that's ever done before in my life. So I'm a big purist in any way, because if I'm meant to feel it, I'm meant to feel it for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, so we're human beings. We're not human doings. We're not here
100%.
you know, and I think that's where we get so disconnected from ourselves and others. It's sad. I like it.
Can you pull your microphone closer to your mouth? Because I'm getting more wind than your words.
And it's sad because, you know, I've been there. I've been in that stage of my life where, you know, it was around the doing. And then you do experience more pain, whether it's physically, mentally, or wherever it is. You know, you don't escape it. It's part of the human experience.
Yeah.
So it's connecting, and it's all a gift. That's the sacredness. And I love this metaphor. It's like, I, like you, was very strong. Like last minute I decided to have a home birth, but I was under a consultant, and the consultant was like, you've got a rare blood type, Marina, and actually you've got a condition that's going to get worse in your pregnancy. And I looked at him and I was like, Dr. Egbar, I love you with all my heart. This is going away. I went away and I prayed and I meditated and I said, what's a gift here? What have you come to teach me? Do I think I'm going to get more love for this condition? And I did. I thought, my mum's going to love me more, people are going to love me more, give me more attention. They didn't. So I had to do it myself. And then like pink light, healing it. Anyway, I'd done this for about 2 weeks and I went through a process and I went back and the doctor was like, Marina, it's gone. And at that time, he was the only person that was genuinely happy for me. And I honoured him, even though my path was different, even though I chose a different path. He's like, Marina, just do it, just take the epidural. Even though I honoured a different way, I honoured him for the gift of him. And we'd have the consultant appointments and I'd be laughing and joking. I'm like, oh, I'm going to still come, Doctor, because I'm going to tell you what I've been doing. What have you been doing this time? I've been reading this. He's like, right, I'm going to do it. It'd go off. He's loving it. He became my friend. And like Cordelia, then last minute, I was like, I'm having a home birth. And he didn't fight against it. And I got him a book and I said, thank you so much for everything you've done for me. Because I know that doctors go to heal. They do. And no one gives them enough gratitude. And he was like, Marina, I put that book last night in my car. It was shipping from the US. And I didn't buy it. And it was just this beautiful example. Is if you honor what comes in your path as sacred, it might not be your way of thinking. It might be different from you. But if you honor it as the sacredness of what's been co-created around you, then life transforms. And this man, Dr. Egbar, who I just adore, ended up calling me up. He said, Marina, if you need me at any time, do you know what? I'll be at your house. So it was just that beauty of honoring produced more security, more stability, even though it was an opposed Marina take the epidural view, or where I could have had resistance about that. I could have created a narrative and a story, but I chose to step into my heart and create sacredness.
And that's always available to us.
Always.
Thank you for sharing that story. I love birth stories, and
it's just that example, isn't it, of how difficult it is, but how beautiful it is. It's that example of that, just that transformation. It's just no one will ever be able to comprehend what you kind of go through in that rebirth view.
And it's totally of our own creation, We'll be right back after this.
Practicing self-love is to nurture the soul. And to nurture the soul requires elemental reconnection with nature. Fire is your sexuality, and earth, your mindset, air, your voice, and water, your heart set. Replenish Me St. Martin experience is what you require for your soul. Join me February 19th through 25th in 2023. Release, restructure, refresh, and rebirth. Nurture your soul elementally in St. Martin.
So let's talk about that. Are you ready, my love alchemist, to join me in St. Martin? Why did you say yes when I asked you to co-facilitate?
Why did I say yes? I don't know. It's like, why would you say no, right? It's like, we get on so well. We've got that pure energy. We've aligned in so many things, our missions and what we're creating in this world. And it's holding that space for others from a really real heart-centered place. And for me, it's an honor. I think I've come to the conclusion of being in this field my whole entire life, from when my dad nearly died when I was young, and studying philosophy, theology, all these things in my life, including psychology, from a young age. It doesn't need to be complicated. I think we complicate it all. And it can be simple, and retreats are the way. It's, would I want to work for someone for a year? No. Would I, I think it can be simple. I think, you can reprogram your subconscious mind, which happens between 0 and 7. There's simple steps that you can take, like the hypnosis that I love. I wouldn't have been able to have a home birth without learning hypnobirthing to teach. Hypnosis has been fundamental to me. So I think it can be simple. You can change your life and create new habits in a short space of time. And I want to be facilitating that in this world with people that align with my values, like yourself. And so I'm super excited. I'm super excited to hold that space. And then, what really resonates is the elements. And bringing people back to who they really are.
Yeah.
Which is part of it all, which is, the divine. And the way that you're talking about just co-creating this space and working with individuals with what's coming up rather than it being rigid and structured.
Yeah.
More holding that divine feminine. We're seeing what's coming up. We're seeing how we can create that love in that container so people can go away with a new perspective and change their lives. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah, I agree. And there's nothing like seeing the reflection of yourself in nature, especially in the elements. And with, facilitators who are in tune with the divine feminine. And to balance us out, Phoebe will also be there with movement and, balancing our energy. I'll have her on, and I think next month, so everyone can meet her as well. But for everyone to just understand what we've been talking about this whole time, being connected to your body is replenishing and sacred thinking and allowing you to honor your sacredness. And I just think that, like you said, people don't really require working, with someone for a year. Sometimes a very intense experience where, the greatest part of coaching is people get to see themselves, right? And there's no faster way than to be face to face with your mortality and your spirituality and sexuality all in one, intense space. And you just have to do the work,
It's, yeah, it's that, as you say it, it's just, it's the freedom, it's your show, it's be free. It's just, if you can step into freedom and love and away from fear and just go for it, honor the useful divine, the water, the fire, all these elements. If you can just honor all of this within you, then your whole life shifts.
Yeah.
And there's no better way than to be with others that are creating the same, that hold that intention, that can hold you in the next stage of your life, to create beautiful connections with others as well, in an intense short space of time.
Yeah.
And it's the intention at the end of the day. It's the intention people bring. So it's bringing that intention for magic. It's bringing that intention for change.
Yeah. Good morning, Lori. How are you? And I want to recognize Julie. I believe that she's in Arizona, so that's a little bit early for her. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. And I like what you said about everyone being committed, right? So what experience have you had, like elemental experiences? I see you out there in nature now, but like how have you used it in your healing? I want to talk about that a little bit.
Do you know what? I think, you know, even think about my childhood. Most of my childhood and the healing has always been around nature for me. And resetting and rebalancing in nature, like one of the best experiences of my childhood I can imagine or remember, was going away and washing my hair in mud. And it's such a random experience, but it's that I just didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was dancing and singing with others. You know, there's a group and they were teaching me how to like dance and sing. And it was just that connection. And I remember it so powerfully as a child.
Yeah.
And that play, you know, that element of, you know, that's where the acting can come in, because it's just play.
Mm-hmm.
And trying on different hats. Because sometimes we have to try it on, right? We have to go, okay, you know, we have to try on being this in, you know, different parts about ourselves. If we don't try it on, how are we going to know?
Right. Yeah, and to be clear, like different from like being performative, right? Being playful, like genuinely playful, and just trying something and experimenting with something new, a different way of being. And if you get to practice that and you're received, you know, then you can take that into your life.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it's, you know, the performing, I mean, life is like a dance, I suppose. Everyone puts on different acts, whether or not they're going to work and they're acting like a leader, or they're acting like, you know, what is real and what is the performance. And I suppose really it's stripping it back. And there's an element of sometimes in life, you know, myself and when I've worked with others, you have to embody, okay, now I'm confident, even, sorry, I know more terms I'm saying it, but, you know, it's shoulders back, you know, that embodiment of sometimes it's just that, is that a performance? Sometimes we need it, you know, it's a little bit of the dance between the two, but I know what you're saying. You're saying, is it authentic?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, you know, is there truth in this? And sometimes maybe you might not believe that you're deserving or you're enough or you're beautiful. So sometimes you have to perform that until you believe that, right?
Yeah.
And whether or not that's swimming in the sea and being like this mermaid with, like, you know, like recently when I went away on a retreat actually, and I was in the water submerged and I was just like in my dress in the water. What an amazing experience. Like,
fun.
Absolutely gorgeous. But it was fun. Like, I'm this, like, I don't care, I'm getting wet, my dress is wet, like I'm a mermaid.
Wow. We should do that. Maybe that'll be the gala on the last night. We'll swim in our dresses instead of walking around in them.
I just love it because it was what an incredible experience. Like, I've always wanted, because it's that water, right? We come from water and we go back into water, and it's almost like a rebirth. It's like a cleanse. It was like, and also it's like not giving a fuck. You know, I'm just,
and we're mostly water too, you know?
You
it's
know,
like
yeah. And how gorgeous, because I think in water, all our, you know, elements like reflects, our soul reflects. It's that purity, that cleanse, especially seawater, and capturing that and embodying that. Wow. It's just magnificent. With hey, I don't care, I'm just in the water right now in my beautiful dress.
or with just my beautiful skin, you know, whichever.
Oh yeah. We're giving everyone a heart attack. Like, no, excuse me. Hi guys, but why not?
You know,
what's the shame? Like, how is it shameful to have a body and to reconnect back to nature? Like, how have we humanity come to that?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah,
it's actually sad.
Well, you know, that's why we're beginning this Replenish Me movement, right? We're going to like take away the sadness and let people be who they are, be free, you know? And
do you be you.
Yeah, that's everybody else is taken.
Yeah. It's only one beautiful you.
I'm curious, Marina. You're Cypriot, right? As
Yeah, so
have you ever been to, like, are there volcanoes on Cyprus?
no, no, not
Have
as
you
far
ever
as I know.
experienced
I think. We were like, no. Yeah, Marina, did you know that there's 100? I know that I've been to Santorini. I love Santorini, but I know that you can see one in the distance of like a little island. It's very beautiful. I love Santorini. I love Mykonos.
I've never been to Greece or Cyprus. I was just curious if you've ever been near a volcano though, to feel the activation of that element.
It doesn't spring to my mind, but as you're saying it, I feel like I have, but I haven't. So maybe that's what maybe we're going to do that, right?
We are. So
Oh, well,
there's
I love it. It's going to be
yeah.
magnificent. Like, I'm super excited because even if you're saying that, I'm like, wow, like how powerful, like to activate that. I mean, the fire, right? The fire element.
Well, I'll tell you, when I went to Hawaii, the volcano was active, like not like it was going to blow up, right? But we saw the bubbles, and it was like not on the retreat I ran, but the one that I attended, and there were bubbles, and so we were instructed to put all of our whatever it is we're releasing into the volcano. And do you know that it shut down? The volcano, like it stopped bubbling? Because
It literally, wow, it sent
yeah,
shivers in my arms. Like, it sent shivers in my arms.
to the point that when
Wow.
I went back in June with my people that I was bringing on the Replenish Me retreat, it was still shut down 4 months later.
Ooh, powerful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we closed that volcano with all the stuff we released. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's powerful. Like energy. We are energy. We are all energy. And look at the power what energy creates with even an intention.
Yeah.
The power. And that's where
Yeah.
power is so important. And just remembering that we are energy. Behind intention is everything.
Yeah. And just letting, that lava flow. So
Fire flow.
like I always think about how we were talking about where the portal between worlds, and we have that vortex really coming up through us, through our yoni, and through our central portal and all that. And we just can emanate that when there's no blockages. But the problem is a lot of us are blocked at our heart chakra, and we just in this sacred space, and St. Martin, you'll have the opportunity to open that up and release that. So you can, I guess, which element is that? That, to just connect like with the air element and space. Well, I kind of do, like, for the purpose of this, I'm doing 4 elements, but in Tantra, there's 5, in authentic Tibetan Tantra, there's 5 elements. So the 5th one is space. So I'm not gonna, I don't know. It depends when I'm in flow, whether I'll bring space in or not. But for the most part, we'll be focusing on air, water, earth, and fire. So,
That is massive because I'm all about the heart chakra. Whenever I've had healing, people have said, Marina, you've got a completely open heart chakra.
Yeah.
So it's my biggest thing that I love, to help people open. And I have done it like on many occasions, but more recently the element of just holding somebody's heart with that embodiment, and them holding it, and then me holding it too, and that channel of an opening and release.
Yeah.
And even with that intention, you can transmute it, and it's so powerful.
Yeah.
And what I don't know, that is space. But it's a space of that release, because normally there's emotions and lots of crying comes up and sadness for people. And when it's released, from that block, people can move forward. It's beautiful to witness.
Yeah.
As people are playing hide and seek around me, I'm just going to bring that in.
It sounds like fun. Sounds like there's play going on there now.
Everything's going to be coming out, you like it or not. But that's
all right.
Okay. That's okay, right? It's okay to cry. It's okay. Like, people often think it's not, and they run. And like, you know, even I did. I was told it's not okay to cry, Marina, when I was young.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
We have to let it go. Yeah.
It's okay. It's just, you know, what are your tears saying? Like, you know. And that was one of the most powerful times for me, when I had a retreat and I cried for 3 days. And nobody tried to fix me.
Yeah, because
it wasn't like, I'm not broken. You know, and there's that element. I even see it now with people like, oh, you know, it looks like she's got a tear in her eye. Oh, she's not smiling. Oh.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's normal. I'm a human. Like, if you want an AI robot, please go. You'll be able to purchase one very soon. I'm a human. Like, we're human. It's the only way we move forward. And quite frankly, we're always going to be in flow anyway.
Yeah, must feel. Well, Marina, I've loved spending this time with you. You look like there's so much fun happening in the background. I'm going to let you back to your play. And is there anything that you want to put into this space before we close?
Just lots of love and that green element, which is the heart chakra. And again, when I feel that, I feel the energy of what you're creating and the elements. And I just see it being green, right?
Yeah.
So I want to hold that intention.
I love it. And I love you. And thank you for everyone who was here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being here live. Thank you for your love and your light. And if anyone wants to know how you can join us in St. Martin, reach out to me on all social media, or you can email me directly at hello@cordeliagaffar.com. Until next week, be free. Bye.
So are you free? Do you own your part in that? Rather than lingering in shame, guilt, and despair, let's see where you can create more freedom, more joy, and replenish from within. Visit me at CordeliaGaffar.com and sign up for the 5 ways to only create joy. Until next week.